KCOG in the heart of America. I'm Steve Gruber, saying the things you wish you could every day, fighting for you from the foxhole of freedom and defending this great nation every single day. It is the Steve Gruber Show. Thank you for being here. Three big things you need to know this hour. Number one, short-sighted Green New Deal edicts are once again going to hurt American companies and American citizens like you because we refuse to use resources we have in spades like nickel. They'd rather be in the dark. Number two, Special Counsel David Weiss told Republican lawmakers and others that politics played no role in his long-delayed investigation into Hunter Biden. The problem is, nobody's buying that. And number three, a big cleanup of election results that we're going to get through here today. Let's start with this. A lot of disappointment for Republicans again in Virginia. The governor there, Glenn Youngkin, had hoped he could swing the entire state house in his direction. Didn't happen. He did not pick up the state Senate, and the House of Delegates slipped away by at least one seat. So it is Glenn Youngkin against the world in Virginia. In Kentucky, Andy Beshear, the incumbent Democrat, Republicans hoped that their upstart Daniel Cameron, the attorney general in Kentucky, could get that seat. He didn't. In Ohio, let's see here. In Ohio, you've got marijuana on the ballot and abortion on the ballot. They both passed by wide margins. But I'll say this about Ohio. Poor choice by the Democrats there. Poor choice by the Democrats there because Sherrod Brown is the most unpopular senator in America. His approval ratings are usually worse than Joe Biden's. Think about that. And as a result of running both of these initiatives in 2023, they don't have them for the ballot in 2024, do the Democrats in Ohio, meaning that Sherrod Brown doesn't get the benefit of massive voter turnout to vote to legalize marijuana or legalize abortion, and in Ohio now up to the moment of birth. Very disappointing. And you have to wonder, it seemed to me that Glenn Youngkin's idea of having an abortion policy that was abortion legal to 15 weeks is about where we're going to end up. I've said this for a very long time. At some point, America is going to end up in that same place that most of the European countries are. Abortion ends somewhere between 12 and 15 weeks. After that, you have to have an actual reason. It can't just be, oh, I don't feel like it, or whatever it might be. 12 to 15 weeks will be the cutoff for abortions in America. We'll see. And in Mississippi, it seems that the governor there, Tate, he hung on, Tate Reeves hung on to his governorship for the Republicans, but only by about 4 points. Very tight in Mississippi, a lot tighter than you would expect, but they are off-year elections, so there you have it. And so you look at the bigger picture. What do you draw from this? What do you conclude from this? What do you make of these results? Well, there are things to be learned. Not a good night for Republicans, but really not consequential to 2024 either. You see, there are things happening in the general electorate across this country that are trending toward the Republicans and away from the Democrats. For example, black voters. Over on CNN, this is what real fear sounds like when they begin to realize the biggest group dumping Democrats right now is black voters. You see, Joe Biden is not Andy Beshear, and Joe Biden won't have the benefit of abortion on the ballot or marijuana on the ballot. And black voters are leaving the Democrats in numbers that I've never seen. Listen to this. Bite number one. Bite number one.
Reading in the crosstabs, the most important part, as Phil reminds us, just all of those, from women to Hispanic voters. Black voters, 22% of black voters behind Trump. That is not seen in the modern era for a Republican frontrunner, right? I mean, wow.
It's startling. I looked at the Democratic response, Kevin Munoz, the spokesman for Biden, and this idea that, you know, we have a year, we can turn things around. I think you have to look at this being a challenge from the very beginning, right? Black voters from the very beginning were saying that we will help you get Joe Biden into office, but, you know, this is not necessarily our preference. This was about democracy and saving democracy. And so here we are a year later. He has not been able to change their impression. Black home ownership is down. Going to the store, you know, even if jobs have improved in terms of numbers, the prices that people are paying it doesn't resonate with them. So Bidenomics, all of the things that Biden has done to try to connect, it's not connecting with this group.
And black unemployment was quite low during the Trump administration.
And lower now.
But he said it all the time. Trump said it all the time.
He had a gift for messaging. There's no question about that.
Bidenomics. Oh, the worst PR move in modern politics. Bidenomics. Oh, but things are better. Just because you feel badly and you can't buy what you want at the store, that's you. We're doing a great job. If you're explaining, you're losing. But Democrats are seeing the polling numbers for Donald Trump picking up 22% of the black vote. And not just that, 45% of the Hispanic vote, too. This is a 5-alarm fire for the progressives. Make no mistake about it. They are scared to death. Here's more.
Here's the deal. Perception is reality. And so when you look at the data that was provided in this poll, it talks about how people feel. And when people decide whether they're going to the poll or whether they're not going to the poll, it's all about how you feel in that moment. And so while the facts may not align with their feelings are dictating their reality. Their reality is that they said that they feel better or they felt better when Trump was in office. But we've been trying to push back. We've got some very popular African-American artists that are out here saying things like, oh, I got checks when Trump was in office. I want those checks again, not understanding that that really came from Congress. So we've got a couple of things, the perception issue, and then we also have an issue as it relates to civics in this country and people not understanding exactly how any of this works.
People just like you who have no idea how it works. That's exactly right. A perception problem? No, a reality problem. Perception is reality. Meanwhile, as all of this goes down, people like former Ohio Congressman Tim Ryan continue to call for Joe Biden to step aside. He's the latest high-profile Democrat saying Joe Biden should not be in the race for president in 2024. Of course, Mr. Ryan ran for president previously. He ran for U.S. Senate. He lost both those races, but he's still a voice in Ohio. Apparently he matters. Listen.
This is not breaking news. I don't think the president should run. I don't think Trump should run. I don't think President Biden should run. We have talent in the Democratic Party. There are some leaders in the Republican Party who are willing to take on the insurrectionists and take on Trump, and I think those candidates should be considered as well. But the whole country wants a move on, and I think that it would be the right thing to do for the president to not run, for him to focus on what's going on in the Middle East, focus on what's going on in Ukraine. He's doing a good job. Focus on the inequality, focus on the inflation, but spend the next 14 months focusing on that and let new candidates emerge in the Democratic Party.
Spend the next 14 months trying to convince people that what they believe to be true when they go to the grocery store, when they see an invasion at the southern border, when they see billions of dollars flowing to Ukraine while our veterans are homeless. Spend the next 14 months convincing them that none of that is true. You need to understand the Democrats are awesome. Socialism is great. Division in the streets and telling white people that they're villains every single day while anybody of color is a hero. Spend the next 14 months doing that. Good luck. Oh, and yeah, and white supremacy is the most dangerous thing to America forever. Please. When we come back, Veterans Day. Speaking of those veterans that are not treated properly, after the break.
Tomorrow is happening.